thing that you can use that most children love is bubbles. Oh, you can blow bubbles. Oh, you want to catch the bubble? You want to catch the bubble? And so that's another trick that you can play with your child. Another thing that most young children love is to use something like this. Oh, do you want to catch a ball? You want to throw and catch the ball? See, this one is so colorful. Do you want to, and it's different. You can hold it like this. So these are some ways you can try to get your child to forget about the cookie and distract, and then use something that will attract your child's attention. Another thing that you can do, let's say you are away from home or you are at a park, and transition often is difficult for young children, especially for toddlers, and they have certain activities that they prefer, like playing on the slide or playing on the swing. And so when you say, oh, it's time for us to go home, and they may have a little tantrum because they don't want to leave the slide, or they don't want to leave the swing. So one thing that is important to do is to prevent before your child has a tantrum. So you can say, oh, 3 more swings, or 3 more times you slide down, and we're going to count together. And so you say 1, 2, 3, and then time to walk to the car, or time to go home. When you prevent, most probably your child may be prepared because you have used it. And even then, let's say your child is moaning and groaning and trying to continue with that tantrum a little bit because he or she does not want to leave the swing or the slide, then maybe have ready in your purse something that your child will like, maybe a little puppet, maybe something, a toy that they can play with, or maybe even a small magnet type of thing. It doesn't have to be even this big, a small little magnet, and say, oh, you know what? When you are in the car, when you're riding in the car, you know what you get to play with? You get to play with the magnet. You can play with the magnet. See? Does it stick? Oh yeah, look at the spoon. Look at the spoon. It's sticking to the magnet. So that's another way. Another way you can do is, you know what? And if it is safe to do so, and if it is a grassy area, we are going to jump to the end of this space, end of this grass. We are going to jump all the way. Is that fun? So these are some tricks that you can use with a 2-year-old or an 18-month-old who's having tantrums. And it's important to remember that we have to focus on positive ways to engage your child's attention. Instead of saying, don't do that. If you don't come home, if you don't walk with me, if I'm going to leave you behind. You cannot leave your child behind. So let's not make threats that we cannot carry out. You're not going to leave your child behind. So it is better to redirect, get your child to positively see from your perspective and not use punishment or threats or yelling at your child or spanking your child to get to do what you want to do. And another thing that you can do, let us say you are on the phone and your child wants to grab your phone from you. So if you, as soon as you receive the phone call and you hear the phone, you tell your toddler, you know, I'm going to be talking on the phone. I will set this timer for me. When it is, the timer goes off, and set it for, let's say, 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And you know what? You can come and touch me on my leg, or you can touch me on my arm and remind me. In the meanwhile, here is something you can play with, and make sure you give something that's really a toy that your child prefers. Maybe a musical toy. I know musical toys can be noisy, but you know, move away from that child so that he or she is playing with the musical toy, or something that he is building with, or something like Play-Doh, which he or she enjoys, and say, you're going to be playing with the Play-Doh, I'm going to be talking on the phone, and then when the timer is up, you remind me. So these are some ways you can use to prevent tantrums. And I do want to mention that when parents, mothers and fathers, use physical punishment or yell at the child a lot, that has some very negative long-term consequences. If it happens almost every day, it does have long-term consequences. And it affects the child's behavior in school, it affects the child's behavior at home, and it affects the child's behavior throughout his or her life. So it is important for us to use positive and nurturing approaches to teach the right from wrong, to meet our expectations, and to learn to be disciplined. Thank you.